Hello, hello, hello. I came on just a few seconds early to get our chat started. So join me here in comments. Let me know where you're joining me from. I'll give everybody a couple minutes to come in and say hello. I'm Carol C.C. Miller, your positive life strategist, peace activator, and global hugger, coming to you with another episode of Embrace Your Life Chat, where the intention is to heighten celebrations and lessen sorrows through a positive focus. So, again, let me know where you're joining me from. It is a gorgeous day here in Chicago. I think it's supposed to get close to 70 degrees or something silly like that for this time of year. But welcome, welcome, welcome. And I like to, before I get started, especially if you're new, and let me know if you're new too, because I definitely like to welcome in the newbies into our community. You may just, well, it's not you may, you are only seeing me on the screen, but everybody in comments, everybody who joins us is part of this community where we're focusing on what we want more than what we don't want. And it does not mean that we don't all have don't wants in our life, but it's what we're going to place our time, energy, and attention to. So one of the things that I do like to let people know up front is I'm not a big believer in absolutes. I'm not a big fan of the words always or never, right or wrong, good or bad. There are 7 billion people on this planet. I can't begin to say what is right for 7 billion people or what is wrong for 7 billion people. So I work on the majority of the time. 0 being always negative, always unkind, always unloving, that type of thing. And 100 being always positive, always kind. I don't know anybody at the 0 and I don't know anybody at the 100. So my personal daily practices that I've done for many years now is to stay in the 80 to 100% of the time, kind, loving, compassionate, peaceful, positive. Generally speaking, I am that the majority of the time. I am not that all the time. Fear visits me, frustration visits me, unworthiness visits me, disappointment, anger, all of those things visit me. But because I've made daily practices to stay focused on what I want more than what I don't want, they visit, they don't move in. Fear isn't wrong. Frustration isn't wrong. Anger isn't wrong. Disappointment isn't wrong. None of those feelings are wrong or bad. It's how much time do you want to spend there? How much energy and attention do you want to give them? Does it feel good in that space? Well, stay in that space. If it doesn't feel good, and I think the more you practice and pay attention to how you're feeling, then you're going to notice this doesn't feel good. What can I do to move forward to feel a little bit better? So that's the first thing I like people to know about me. You will catch me saying the words always, or I don't know that I say never that often, but you will catch me saying them from occasion, but it's not something I say a lot because, again, I'm not a big fan of those words. Secondly, I'm a coach. I love supporting people on growing their best life, whatever that looks like. So please check out my website if you're interested in coaching with me. I am not a counselor, nor am I a therapist. And counseling and therapy, sometimes to live your best life, is the best option for you to look into. I know you're worthy of living your best life. So whether it's hiring me as a coach, working with a counselor, therapist, a clergy person, finding best friends, I encourage you to create your support system to help you live your best life. So before we get into today's topic, I'm going to check in. Hello, Lisa. Good to see you here. I hope you're having a great day too. Our weather is generally similar, Lisa, so let me know what's going on in Ohio. But today's topic, I wanted to talk about hope. And I think it's really easy, especially when you're going through a really hard time, to dim the light of hope and think that things aren't going to work out for you. And maybe in that particular situation, the way you want it to work out isn't going to work out. But that doesn't mean there isn't ways to be hopeful, even in the hard places of our life. Matter of fact, to me, hope is one of the biggest things that keeps me going when I am in a challenge, is to know that there is a better moment out there. There is a better day ahead. There is better in that situation, or there is better in changing into a different situation. So hope is definitely a key for me. Hello, Angela. Welcome. Glad to have you here. So what I do, sometimes I have guests. I'm going to have a guest next week. Kate Ship will be joining me next week. Hopefully it will work because I'm going to be out of town. So I'm hoping my connection is strong enough to be able to do these video chats with as minimal amount of distraction as possible. So when I'm here solo, I pick a word, I define it, come up with an affirmation, and then use some tips around it. So the word we're working with today is hope. And the definition is to cherish a desire with anticipation, to want something to happen or be true. So think about that exact definition. To cherish a desire with anticipation, to want something to happen or be true. Think about things that you're wanting in your life, whether it's relationships, jobs, homes, travel, health, whatever it is that you're wanting more of in your life. Look at it from a place of hopefulness rather than hopelessness. Be anticipatory, get into that I'm excited kind of thing and desiring it more than thinking about how it can't happen. Focus on the desire of it happening rather than giving attention to, well, how is this going to happen? It may not happen. It's never happened before. So it's easy to lose hope when we are feeding our fear rather than feeding what we want to happen and what we're excited about happening and what we're looking forward to happening. So that's the definition. An affirmation we're going to use today is I am filled with hope in all aspects of my life. And maybe you just even say, I am filled with hope. Now, affirmations is a statement. It's not positive or negative. It's what you say can be positive or it can be negative. But the word affirmation is you are affirming something. I use positive affirmations. However, I can pick a positive affirmation, say it out loud, and immediately say that is not true for me. So that positive affirmation is no longer positive for me. Still a positive statement, but it's not helpful to me because I've already negated it. So if I am saying I am filled with hope, and yet all day long I have been hopeless and focused on everything not working, then that I am filled with hope is a positive statement. But I've negated it because I've immediately said it's not true. So you're going to want your affirmation, whether you use this one or create your own, to be believable. And it can be, and probably should be actually, a stretch from where you are right now. But you don't want it to be such a huge stretch that you've already negated it. Because if you're negating what you're saying, you're kind of slowing the process down. Or it could be, I'm in the process of feeling hopeful in all aspects of my life. So that means you're focusing. It's not a true statement right in this moment, but you're in the process of making it a true statement. So you haven't negated it. I hope that makes sense. Affirmations are to replace those negative thoughts that we've had in the back of our heads where we're unconscious of our thoughts. We're not even aware, but we're using those to make decisions. They're things that we've heard from others. They're things that we've said to ourselves from basically birth until right here today. So you're wanting to come up with conscious thoughts that you are repeating to yourself. Maybe you're writing it down, looking at it. I have some of mine written down in different places of my home, and I actually have one in my car too. So it's what you want to do, but it's something to repeat. I do my affirmations first thing in the morning, and I do them again right before I go to bed. Sometimes I do them throughout the day. I definitely use them when I'm going into a stressful situation or I'm noticing that I'm paying attention to my don't want. I might just start saying to myself, I choose peace, I choose peace, I choose peace. And it's to replace that back of my head saying that's telling me that this isn't safe or this isn't good or this isn't right kind of thing, that I am now choosing, I'm taking action to choose peace in that situation. So again, I'm filled with hope in all aspects of my life. Hello, Steve. Good to have you here. Ibrahim, I hope I said your name right as well. Welcome. Please, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat and I'll come back after the discussion. Also, if you have ideas for future conversations that you would like me to bring a little bit more love, kindness, compassion, and peace to, put those in chats as well. So I look forward to seeing that. So the tips for remaining hopeful. One thing is, I was going to actually say this at the beginning. Some of the sayings that we say to ourselves, people will say, I'm a hopeless romantic. So pay attention to what you're thinking and saying and change that to, I'm a hopeful romantic. When you are saying I'm a hopeless, you're already affirming that there isn't hope in that romance, or there isn't hope in whatever you're looking for. So pay attention to the words that you're saying. If you've been with me, and many of you here have been with me for quite a while, tip 1, be aware of how you feel. When you're aware that you're feeling down, when you're aware that you're feeling angry, when you're aware that you're feeling joyful, when you're aware that you're tired, whatever it is you're aware of, now you have the ability to shift and change. If you're angry right now, you get to decide, this doesn't feel good. I'm going to take steps to feel better. Or this doesn't feel good, but I need to sit with it for a while. Doesn't mean just because you're aware that it doesn't feel good, doesn't mean you have to shift it right now. You might, and you might need to stay there for a while and feel it. When we feel our feels, we're acknowledging them and we're letting it know that it's okay. Again, anger, frustration, disappointment, all of those are not bad things to feel. Matter of fact, pretty much normal for all of us to feel those things at some point. It's how much time, energy, and attention do you want to give them? If you're just having moments of frustration, moments of disappointment, anger, then it's easier to shift out of it. If it's something that has a grip on you right now and you're spending more time, maybe you're at 80% in that aspect, then it might be you want to seek coaching or counseling or therapy. Just depends on where you're at and how much you feel you can move through it without support. We're a connected species, so the more we can have support around us, the better. But pay attention to how you feel. When you are on autopilot, which is absolutely easy to do, then life is living you. You are not living life. One of the ways, and it's actually one of my tips, but I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. One of the ways to stay in awareness is to stay into gratitude, because then you're looking for things around you to be grateful for. And when you're having those hard days and those hard moments where it's hard to be grateful, and those are going to happen most likely, then it's go back to the things that you take for granted. That I don't know about you, but I don't have to tell my body to breathe. I don't have to tell my heart to beat. It just does it. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for medical science that allows people who do need extra support breathing and who do need extra support for their hearts to work properly. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I have a warm bed to sleep in. Then I'm grateful that it's a sunny day. I'm grateful that it's raining because it nourishes the earth. So there's many things that you can be grateful about, even in your hard times. But gratitude helps you stay in awareness because you're kind of looking outside of yourself to find things you're grateful for. Also, look inside yourself and find things that you're grateful for about yourself, that you're persevering, that you're trying to do your best, that you're working at being your best version of yourself, whatever that looks like. So be aware of how you feel. Gratitude is one of the ways to stay in that space of awareness, is to be paying attention to the things around you. Then I want you to, like I just said a few moments ago, pay attention to your thoughts, words, and actions. If you are speaking from a negative place or speaking from a place or thinking, I don't tend to use negative or unkind words because words are very powerful to me. This is something I have practiced for many years. My challenge is paying attention to negative thoughts and unkind thoughts and things like that. So that's more of my work, is my thoughts more than my words. But it could be thoughts for you. It could be words. It could be your actions. It could be all three. It doesn't really matter. Again, it's not a right or wrong. It's where are you? Where do you want to be? And how do you want to feel through it? So pay attention to what you're thinking and saying, because it's easy. I notice a lot of people will think that they're being positive, and yet they are complaining about what they don't like, whether they're complaining about a politician they don't like, or they're complaining about the weather, or they're complaining about a religion. Focus and speak about what you do like. It's not to say the things that are broken and harmful in this world, you don't want to ignore them, but complain, blame, and shame tends to feed that energy. They don't tend to bring you into solutions-based thinking. It might, and if you are somebody who can complain and then go into solutions, go for it. But I think most people, when you're in that space, you just keep going down that path of blame, shame, and complain. And at the end of that path, you haven't found a solution. You might feel a little bit better because you've gotten it out of your system, but you haven't thought of ways to feel better as far as a longer term goal. So pay attention to your thoughts, words, and actions. Again, the awareness of them allows you to shift. It allows you to stay there if you need to stay there for a little bit longer. It's not a right or wrong. It's who are you? Who do you want to be? And how do you want to show up? Then the next one is when these unhopeful, that's not the word I want, when your mind is telling you things aren't working out, you're disappointed, you're frustrated, whatever, and it's winning the race for that moment. And that's going to happen too. Again, it's not wrong. It's just like you're going through something right at that moment. So what you want to do is completely shift away from that conversation completely. Take some deep breaths. Inhale, count of 4. Slow, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for a count of 4. Slow count of 4. Exhale for a count of 4. Hold for a count of 4, and then just repeat that cycle. Because when you're taking those deep breaths, generally speaking, again, I'm not an absolutist, so I'm not going to say always, but when we're focused on the don't wants, when we're focused on fear, when we're focused on frustration, when we're focused on disappointment, we tend to do shallow breathing. So we're not even giving our body the oxygen it needs to make better decisions, to feel better, to allow ourselves to be in awareness. So do the breathing exercises. I'm not trained in breath work, but there are many different types of breathing exercises. And one of them is the count of 4, or you can even just pay attention, put your hand on your stomach and pay attention, hand on heart, hand on stomach, and pay attention to your breathing for 3 to 5, maybe 10 counts, depending on what's going on. But breathing is a great way to recenter yourself and focus back onto what you want. Go for a walk. Get away from your thoughts for a moment and just go out there and look at nature, look at the birds, look at the water. I live close to Lake Michigan, so that is definitely a place I go when I need to refocus, is to go to the water. Water is a big energizer for me. So find things that energize you that you can go and do instead of letting I'm going to have to look this up. I do not know why they call it a monkey mind other than it's super busy, but get out of your own head and out of your own way. Go for a walk, listen to great music, get up and dance, do something to shift you into a different space. The space you're in isn't wrong. It's how long do you want to be there? Does it feel okay? Where do you want to go? And how do you want to get there? Practice gratitude. And I mentioned that earlier. It's one of the, I don't know if it's the quickest way, but it is certainly a great way to retrain your mind into focusing on what you want rather than what you don't want. And when the don't wants are there, especially if they're right in front of you, it's easy to focus on that. So in that don't want situation that you may be facing today, where can you even find gratitude in that? And an example I've used, I've said it several times. I mean, my mom passed away. It'll be 4 years ago this December. And while it was a horrible time, there was gratitude that she was no longer suffering herself. So there was things that I could find gratitude in, even in the painful experience. So look for things, even in your challenge, of what you can be grateful for about it. Sometimes it's looking at a past challenge that you may have had and that you're on the other side of it now. And it's easier to find the gratitude once you're through it and like, oh, I can see how I learned something new. I can see how I learned something new about the people in my life, or that I've allowed new people into my life because of that challenge. Finding the gratitude within the challenge is a little bit trickier, but it's still possible. And I encourage you to look for it. You may not see it till you're on the other side, and that's okay too. But when you can find gratitude, even in the hard parts, that makes it just easier. And when you practice gratitude, practice it, especially in the good times that you're going through, then when you need to call on it, when you do have a challenging time, then it's easier to reach in and grab that kind of information for yourself. I know a lot of people think, because I have an organization called Positive Focus for 12 years now, 13 years. I don't know how long I've been around. That my life is perfect and easy because I focus on being positive. My life is beautiful and my life can be messy too. So it's not about pretending and saying, I am not one of those people who say, just be positive. We tend to all at some point, and I'm going to use the word all, have challenges that we need to work through and move through. The more you can do it with compassion for yourself, the more you can do it with gentleness for yourself, the more you can find the gratitude through it, the more that you can be positive through it, the easier it is to get through. Does not mean a hard time isn't hard. It just makes it a little easier to get through and quicker to get through when you're focused on the wants of it rather than the don't wants. Create an affirmation or mantra. I mentioned earlier, like we had our affirmation for today is I'm filled with hope in all aspects of my life. But one of my big mantras that I go to, especially if I start getting frustrated, is I choose peace. I choose peace. I choose peace. I choose peace. Or sometimes I just say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And that shifts me out of my thoughts of what's not working into a place of what is working. And it's just a simple shift. It might take some practice. And again, it depends on the difficulty of what you're facing. But either one of those, I choose peace or thank you, thank you, thank you, shifts for me. So I would encourage you to give those a try. The next one is to pay attention to the people that you surround yourself with. And it does not mean get rid of people in your life because maybe they're more negative or not. But it does mean, especially if you're going through a hard time yourself, you're going to want to limit the news coverage, because if you're right now in a hopeless is a really strong word, but if you're in a moment right now where you're focusing more on the don't wants, 51% is the majority of time. So if you're 51% focused on the don't wants more than the do wants in your life, then when you're around other people who are also focused on the don't wants, it's just easier to stay in that environment and agree with them. If you're 51% of focusing on the do wants, then you're going to want to spend more time with people who have that vision for you too. The people, whether it's you or other people who are focused on the don't wants, they are not wrong. They are not bad people. That's where they are right now. Wherever you are right now is you get to decide how to move forward from there. So I encourage you to find people, whether it's even hiring a coach or just being around people who are looking for the wants in their life, who are focused on gratitude in their life, who are focused on solutions rather than just the problems in their life and in the world. So look for the solutions, look for the people who are going to help support you in that. Again, I really want to make sure people know that if you're in a space of your life, and some people, that's just kind of their MO, is to be in a more of a negative state. They're not right or wrong. It's just where they are. It's you get to decide for yourself. Can't decide for you. You get to decide. I can't do these daily practices for you. You get to decide if they will work for you as well. So just give them a try and see, but focus more on what you want rather than what you don't want. What energy do you want to put out there? Do you want to put out the energy of solutions, or do you want to put out the energy of the problems? Do you want to put out the energy of gratitude, or do you want to put out the energy of complaining? It's not about ignoring complaining. It's not about ignoring solutions, but it is about looking about how you want to move through those challenging times in your life. And then the last one is to create your hope list. And that's kind of like your bucket list. If you were like, if I had a magic wand today, which I don't, but let's just say I did have a magic wand and I could sprinkle magic hopeful dust all over you, what would your hope list look like? Where would you be living? What kind of relationships would you have? What would your health look like? Where would you be traveling? What type of work would you do? Look at it, what you would hopefully, what would be the best, like when I say that I coach people on living their best life, what would your best life look like if you were able to achieve everything in it? I don't want you to think about the hows and the whys are going to happen. I just want you to put the hope list out there, because it'll give you something to focus on when there's a little harder times that may visit you. Let them visit, just don't invite them to move in. So that is what I have for you today, is to stay hopeful, use your power of hope. You pay attention to what you're thinking and saying and reframe it into something hopeful. Do not beat yourself up over when you find yourself focusing on what you don't want. It's natural. Just notice it, be aware. Actually, when I first start working with clients, I often tell them, like, pat yourself on the back. You are aware that you're focused on what you don't want. Your awareness allows you to shift and change. If you're on autopilot, you're just going to stay in that don't want energy without even being aware of it. So focus on that. Be gentle with yourselves, be compassionate with yourselves, and know that hope is a superpower to cling on to sometimes and enjoy other times. So keep that in mind. Let me see who is here. Hello, Alan Powell. It is good to see you. Jacob, I don't know what that one is. Sue, hello from Pennsylvania. Sue, I am going to come to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in May. Hello, Justin. So good to see you. And yes, for a happier life, because, you know, we all have, I just use the word all, and I'm going to say 99% of us, there's again 7 billion people. There may be a few people out there that have never had any problems or challenges in their life. I don't think it's possible to be a human without challenges, without hardship, without grief if you've lost someone that you love. So no, it's not about being happy 100% of the time. It's not about being positive 100% of the time. I run an organization called Positive Focus. I coach on positivity, and I am not positive 100% of the time. I am positive the majority of the time because I work at it and I've made it a daily practice to do so. I do my best, and I'm not always good at it, but I do my best not to beat myself up over the times where I get into the space of focusing on the don't wants in my life, when I get into the space of focusing on the woes of the world. And again, I'm a big world peace person. So what I mean by when I'm focused on the woes of the world, that means I'm complaining about it. I might be blaming. Shame is a very powerful word to me, so I don't really shame, but I might be complaining about things that are going on in the world, or I might be blaming whoever about things that are going on in the world, and I'm not focused on solutions. When I'm in blame and shame, blame and complain on any aspect of my life or in your lives, I'm tending to focus and give the energy of the don't wants. When I am seeing the don't wants in my life, when I am seeing the don't wants in the world, then I can come from a solutions orientation. So it's to observe the don't wants. I see it. I know it's there. I know if I ignore it, it's not going to go away. So when I'm observing it, then I can come from a focus on solutions. When I'm absorbing the frustration of the world, the disappointment, the sadness, the anger, then I tend to step into blame and complain about it rather than what can I do? I can't solve the world's problems, but I can do my part in my part of the world to make it more love, kindness, compassion, and peace out there. Those are my values that I live by. So whatever values you live by, look into how you can create more of that in your life and in the world. I just kind of got off on another tangent. Thank you, Justin, for reminding me of that. Let's see if there's anything else here. I don't see any other questions. Hello. Nepal is here. Badur, please tell me, because I know that you've been here with us before, and let me know if I am pronouncing your name right. And Thailand is in the house and from a different language, so I can't begin to say your name, but welcome. I love having you here. My schedule has shifted lately, so I'm only going to be able to do, I shouldn't say that, I'm focused on what I don't want. I am going to be joining you on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. Chicago time moving forward. So I will not be here on Wednesdays. I will probably do some pop-ups on occasion, but the schedule now will be Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11:30 Chicago time. I believe Tuesday of next week, I am having a guest, Kate Ship. It might be Thursday. I'm not sure. I need to look at my calendar, but I will definitely be back next week. I will be out of town. I'm going to be in the Pacific Northwest working from there. So fingers crossed where I'm at, I will have good enough Wi-Fi connection to join you. I will join you. It just might not be crystal clear, and I won't have my lights and all that stuff to make it as nice as possible. But you know what? That's why we embrace life. We don't always have perfect conditions. I don't know that there is a such thing as perfect conditions, but I don't have control of all the conditions of where I'm going to be at, but it's still about embracing life and doing the best we can with what we have in the moment. So I will come back in if I missed any of you. Sometimes I don't see the questions until I come back and look again live later, not live. I'm looking later on the replay, but I will come back later and check and see if there's any comments or anything else that you would like me to discuss in a future conversation. I am putting a link in here on how you can get in contact with me for coaching, for group coaching, for joining my global hug team. I haven't talked about that for a while. I will be talking about it more. Please join my global hug team and let other people know about it. And if this conversation or chat has helped you at all, I would love it if you would share it and help us grow the community of people who are focused more, the majority of the time, on what they want in their lives rather than what they don't want. So take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in this big, beautiful, and messy world. And we'll talk soon. Tuesday for sure. I might pop up sometime before then, but definitely on Tuesday I'll see you. So have a great weekend. Take care. And remember, you matter. You matter to me. You matter to the world. And most importantly, you matter to you. So long for now.